Hi everyone, my name is Regina Romanzetti, and for this week's presentation, I chose the topic of women in colonial America, specifically focusing on how primary sources can be used to develop a historical literacy. For this week's assignment, I used the Liberty University's library database, America's Historical Imprints, to locate primary sources from before 1820. These sources include The Character and Conduct of Female Sex from 1781 and Thomas Gisborne, An Inquiry into the Duties of the Female Sex from 1797. My audience for this presentation would be late high school, like juniors in the spring and seniors, or early college students who are learning how to analyze historical sources. Instead of just teaching students what women did, I would focus on helping them to think like historians. They would do this by analyzing documents, questioning perspectives, and understanding context. Both of my primary sources focus on how women were expected to behave during this time period. They emphasize ideas such as morality, obedience, and proper conduct. These texts present an ideal image of women and show the expectations society placed on them during this time period. However, these sources are important because they allow students to ask questions, such as, who wrote these documents? What kind of women were they describing? Do these expectations reflect all women or only one certain type of group of women? Questions like this help students understand that these sources show ideal expectations and not necessarily reality. To deepen this understanding, I also use secondary sources. Linda Kerber's article on Republican motherhood explains how women were expected to shape society by raising moral and educated citizens after the American Revolution. This shows how women's roles were connected to the development of the new nation, even though they did not have any political power. Additionally, Jean Boyston's article looks at women's labor and argues that women played an important role in the economy, even though their contributions were often overlooked. This challenges the ideas presented in the primary sources and shows that women were more active in daily life than the texts actually suggest. By comparing these sources, students can see the difference between what society expected and what women were actually doing for the time. This approach helps students to develop their thinking skills, their historical literacy, by analyzing multiple perspectives, recognizing bias in the writing, and forming their own interpretations and opinions on the topic. Overall, this presentation shows that history is not just about memorizing facts, but also by understanding different viewpoints and using evidence to make a meaning of the past. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.